Hello people of YouTube, my name is Brad, this is my channel Adam and Orange. Welcome to another 3D metal model news. I would like to apologize for any background noise you may or may not hear. I'm trying to squeeze this video in before something else goes wrong. I was hoping to have this video ready this weekend. Research took longer than I expected, getting my notes together, and then Sunday, well, I use Google Drive to keep a lot of my notes because it's mobile and I can access it through different media easily, and it went down and I lost all of my notes. But anyway, here we are. Let's get to it. I want to pick up kind of where I left off last time. I am trying to play catch up from not doing news videos for several months now. It wasn't intentional taking a break that long, but here we are. Last video I talked and tried to catch up with what was going on with the Metal Earth, because that is honestly the main thing that I build and the main thing I focus on. I try to focus on others. I want to build other models, but I tend to lean towards Metal Earth being here in the States. Those are easy and readily available, and where I started. I wanted to add a couple of things from last video that I have discovered since. There's a thing or two that have changed and a couple of things that I forgot about that I want to add. Start with, since last video, 2 Transformers models did show up on the coming soon page. We have both Soundwave and Megatron actually showing up as coming soon, not just hinted through emails, actually showing as coming up. Now, as of last night or yesterday when I did research, there was no details on sizing or sheet amounts or whatnot, just pictures. And the pictures do show a lot of detail. In my opinion, they look like they've been edited, cleaned up, photoshopped. So the accuracy of them may be a little bit in question. You know, back in the day, Metal Earth used to use obviously real photos of the built models because there were imperfections in them. Now they obviously clean them up to look nicer. I get it. They want their product to look nice. I had some respect. I had a little bit more respect for the raw pictures of their mistakes. But anyway, I did take a close look at those pictures and noticed quite a few things. And I don't think I'm going to have time to do a comparison side-by-side photo because I've got a lot to talk about and I want to get through it. But you know, I've got the original Megatron model, and I did look at the pictures online and look at the comparisons, and if you look around, there are a number of differences in the design. One of which stuck out the most to me, the legs are very different. This kind of curved side piece, this very handle grip texture that's on it, very much reminds me of the actual toy back in the 80s. Yes, I am old enough, you can see the gray, I am old enough that I had these Transformer toys back in the day as a kid. I had Megatron and you could fold him up into a gun. So these were very realistic. His legs were, from what I remember, kind of awkward looking and not proportional because they were designed to come together into the grip of that gun. And I love that about this. The newer one looks a little more proportional, a little more maybe like the cartoons, I'm not sure. But there are definitely some design differences. So this isn't just a rehash and colorization of an existing model. And that's kind of exciting. The arms are in different positions, the legs are different proportions, the gun on the back is different. Lots of differences in the two models. The Soundwave model, the gun has changed hands, Laserbeak isn't there. In the original one, he's got, I believe that's Laserbeak on his arm. And in the newer version, the arms have changed. There's no Laserbeak. He's holding the gun is bigger. It's just very different design. There's different designs in the backing detail, the ankles and legs. It's just, if you really look at it, it does not take long to see that they are different models. So I am excited that they're not just rehashing and putting color on an existing model. They actually took the time to redesign it. I'm not sure quite how I feel about the changes they made in Megatron. I kind of get it. I like that they did this. I was very appreciative that they did this because it reminded me of the actual toy back in the day. And I feel like I can really see the difference in that. I don't know that it's kind of more to the cartoon, but I think that's what's going on. Anyway, I appreciate that they've actually taken the time to create something new instead of just trying to recolor the old. I'm going to try and stop myself there because I could ramble on for far too long. I do want to talk about 2 models, 2 exclusive Metal Earth models that I had forgotten about. I remember seeing something about them, put it to the side, I was moving, and I forgot about it and didn't include it in last week's video. There were 2 exclusive Universal Studios models that have come out. One a lot of people are really excited about, and that is the ET model. And if you're older and got some gray hair like me, you may remember the movie E.T., or maybe your parents made you watch it. I don't know. The original E.T. movie, where E.T. has gotten into the basket on the front of the bike and they're actually flying. They've got a bike with E.T. in a basket and an actual little piece of cloth covering him up except for his face. Really cool model. I definitely want to get it. It is MMS 209. I've got photos here from Reddit, thanks to user Hobo4449 for posting about both of these models and posting pictures and some information, because I do not have a website to go to find any information about these, so it's only what people have shared. Hobo4449 shared pictures, but not any details and sizing. That's fine. Happy to have the pictures. It is an actual cloth and not a piece of metal that you're wrapping. It actually comes with a piece of cloth in it and like holes for the tabs or something like that. And then we have the Universal Studios Studio Tour Tram, which is like two little buses. MMS 215, 2 units, 6.5 inches long, 144 pieces is what Hobo4449, Reddit user Hobo4449 shared about that model. So they've been out a while. I want to say we're able to find those two models listed on eBay, and I've got a couple of pictures here and there. Some of my information comes from MetalEarthBuilder.com, CodeWookie, so I did use some of his resources because there was a lot of stuff to keep track of and I'm behind. So thank you to CodeWookie for keeping log of stuff when I was out. He has links to a couple of eBay pages for those two models. I would also point out that Hobo4449 in one of his listings, or one of his Reddit posts, mentioned that the online shop does not list these two models. I checked for myself. They do not currently. You can find them on eBay, but it's typically severely marked up, like 50 bucks or more. But according to Hobo4449, you can call Merchandise Services at 1-888-762-0820 or email merchantservices@universalorlando.com to order these models. And that's something I may end up trying. You just pay their price plus shipping, which probably would come out cheaper than getting them off eBay, depending. So I'm going to have to look into that soon. I've got enough to keep me busy right now, but I'd definitely like to get to the E.T. one. That's really cool and definitely something from my childhood. I could go into stories about that too, but let's keep moving on. Something else that CodeWookie, or MetalEarthBuilder.com, shared that I couldn't find on eBay and I could barely find any information out about is there are 2 more Star Wars Disney exclusive models from the Droid Depot. We've got 2 more droids in color that have come out. We've got the Droideka, which Metal Earth had a silver version. They just called it like a battle droid or something. I can't remember. Or they gave it an odd name. It's right here behind me. Why don't I grab it? Destroyer Droid. So the original silver one is just named Destroyer Droid, but that's a Droideka. The newer version is actually called a Droideka, and it comes in color, and they've made some changes and edits. According to CodeWookie, who has a better eye for detail than I, and I quote, "First one is a colored version of the now correctly named Droideka. It looks to be quite similar to the original, just with color and a different base. Upon close examination, it looks to have a few minor cosmetic differences. It seems to be standing taller, and the arms are lowered more, and the spikes on the legs are more pronounced." So it is, again, not just a rehash of the silver model, but at least slightly updated one. And then we have the Battle Droid, which, if you know Star Wars and you've seen the original, not the original, but the prequels, the 3 prequels, you've seen the Battle Droid. There are millions of them. The C-3PO, one of them came with the option to put the Battle Droid head on. Now we have an actual Battle Droid in color. Not any more information than that, but there it is. Here's some pictures. And that, as far as I know, catches us up with Metal Earth unless I find something else. Again, I'm behind. This week I wanted to try and talk and catch up with Peacecool, and that was a challenge. Peacecool has its own website. They do tend to put new upcoming models on it, but they're not as organized the same as Metal Earth, and it can be challenging to figure out the order of things, especially if you're as far behind as I am. I had someone send me a list of models. It took me a while to find them, and it even appeared to have gaps in it. I tried to figure out where I left off, and we're just going to do the best we can from there. This in no particular order, because finding this information was a bit scattered. I'm just going to jump into it. We have a Peacecool XI fan or Xi fan. And in the list, one of the listings, it had it translated as high fin or high fan, but I think XI space FAN. So is that pronounced Xifan or maybe it's high fan? I'm no good with these pronunciations. It is P196-RG, 6 sheets, 215 accessories, 510 pieces, brass, finish size of, I put down 26.4. I think it might be 6.4 by 8.3 by, no, 26.4 by 8.3 by 35.5 centimeters. I hope that's right. I put so much information last night, I may have made some errors. On AliExpress, specifically the Superb Toy Store, it's part of the Dowry series. So I think it hints as being something to do with weddings or wedding planning or dowry or somewhere in that area. I think the models that it listed as being a part of, I've already talked about the rest of them. They seem familiar. So it looks like they add something to it right as I was moving and taking my bit of a hiatus. And I may have talked about it before and just forgot it, but that's one of the things that I think I've missed trying to catch up. It is already out for sale on Superb Toy Store. I've got a link to one of the stores down below. I ended up going between several different stores trying to gather their information, and I just found a link to one and put it. Of course, links to this stuff is in the description down below, so you can find it for yourself. And then we have, next I'm going to talk about the Peacecool Blind Box Lucky Crane set. There are 6 different models. They're all cranes. They all have a different name and a different model number. But my understanding is there's no way to get a specific one. Like if you want this one specific one, you can't just go out and get it. You're getting a blind box, which means you get a box, you don't know what's in it, you open up, you find out. And I think, yeah, that's just how they started to do some of their models. So if you buy the Lucky Crane set, you're going to get one of 6 models, starting somewhat, I think, in order. P197-GR, it's the Jinbu, Jin/Bu. You might also get the P198-NG, which is Yuan-Kui, Yuan space QI. There is the P199-RB, the Ziyun, XI space YUN. Then there is the P200-GR. It is the Fugai, FU space GUI. Then the P201-NG, which is Ankan, AN space KAN. And the P202-NG, Boxue, BOXUE. I apologize if I've said that and pronounced that incorrectly. Again, I'm no good at that. I have trouble pronouncing English words correctly. Can you imagine trying to study for medical terms? I'm having fun with that. All the sheets appeared, or all the models appear to be a finished size of 11.5 by 5.8 by 7 centimeters. They all seem to have 2 sheets. And again, there's no way to get a specific model. It's just a blind box. Just luck of the draw when you buy a box. And then we have another blind box. It's a Lucky Lion blind box set. And I've got a collaborative picture of all the ones in this set, starting from left to right, and kind of by color. We have Lu, L-U, which is in black. We have Kai, C-A-I, sort of a gold color. We have Fu, F-U, which is red. We have G, J-I, which is yellow. We have Z, X-I, which is pink. And Shou, S-H-O-U, which is the white one. They are all about 7.5 centimeters by 6.5 centimeters by 6.3 centimeters. Some of the pictures that I've seen show with them on a spring. There's talk that you can put them on a spring. I'm not entirely sure if the spring comes with it, but I would like to think so. And they're not to be confused with the mini Dancing Lions I mentioned sometime back in July of last year. I actually did find where I had mentioned that, July of last year, which sort of came on the heels of another not so many Dancing Lion sets. So there's been a series of lion sets. I think there's been a series of cranes. So this Lucky Lion blind box comes on the heels of other lions. The blind box Lucky Crane set, I want to say there's other cranes back in the past, I'm not sure. And it gets, I think there are others that it gets confusing. And I missed a lot of it, so it's hard to play catch up. Another model that I found was a Lantern series. There's 2 different models in this series, depending on the shop. One shop only had one, the other shop had both of them. So again, I'm pulling information from different places. Like, I found it in one shop, but I couldn't find it in the other, and I pulled the number up, the model number up on P-School, and got information, realized it was the second one. I had to go back and find it. It was fun doing research for this. But we have the Lantern series. We have 2 models. One is Summer Day, P222-NG, 2 sheets, 19 accessories, 201 pieces, brass, 2-star difficulty, so not very hard, 13 by 10 by 19 millimeters tall with stand. It does have a stand that it kind of hangs from. And then we have Spring Rise, which is P2221-PG, brass, 2 sheets, 129 pieces, 2 stars. It is 26 by 15.5 by 30 millimeters tall with stand. And I got millimeters down. I know most of the stuff I'm talking about centimeters, so I don't know if I don't think I've made the error here, but I wonder if they have. If where I got this information listed it is supposed to be centimeters. But I am pretty sure that where I got it from said millimeters. Like, I wonder if they were wrong. Hard to say. And then speaking of cranes, there were a lot of cranes. There were some cranes that were talked about before I took my hiatus, and there was this one individual that seemed to be an artist that was creating them. They had this person's picture with a waxed mustache and beard, and they had come out with some cranes, and apparently they've ended up with 3 different sets of cranes in all. And I know I've talked about one set that was like something like 6 or 8 cranes or something a while back. But then they came more Make-A-Wish cranes, because it tends to say Make-A-Wish or wishing cranes or something like that. Talked about the set of 6 quite some time back. Looked like they have 4 more that came out while I was away. We're going to go through all 4 of them. Peach Blossom, P208-RB, 1 1/4 sheets, 65 pieces, brass, finish size of 14 by 8.5 by 5 centimeters, 2-star difficulty. Then we have Glory Lily, P205-RG, 1 1/4 sheets, 66 pieces, brass, 14 by 8.5, 15.5 by 8.5 by 5 centimeters, 2 stars. And then there's Lavender, which is P203-NW, 1 1/4 sheets, 42 pieces, brass, 15 by 7.5 by 15 by 7.5 by 3.2 centimeters, also 2-star difficulty. And then lastly, Dandelion, P206-NG, 1 1/4 sheets, 172 pieces, so this has the most piece count of the 4, brass, finish size of 14 by 6 by 4.5 centimeters, 2 stars. I found a listing for these on Funny Model Store. Looks like they all 4 come in one box, so I'm thinking that's how they're sold. It's just to get all 4 of them, not one at a time, though I could be wrong. And feel free to correct me in the comments, because some of this stuff is hard to figure out exactly how it's going to be offered and what's going to end up happening. And I put a link to it down in the description. The box is called Lucky Crane Blossoms in the Wild, I believe. So if you're wanting to find a link to it down in the description, there is a Lucky Crane Blossoms in the Wild link. Go to that. But then there are 2 more additions to this Make-A-Wish crane set. These I don't believe have come out yet. They're in the coming soon phase of things. P-School's website puts new models up and puts a date that they're supposed to come out. So they do the coming thing a bit differently than Metal Earth. They don't have 2 separate sections. But for the additional 2 that are coming out, we have the Aquarius IP062-BG. It is 1 3/8 sheets, 51 pieces, brass, 13 by 11 by 7.6 7.5 centimeters, 2-star difficulty. And then we have the Pisces IP063-GB, 1.5 sheets, 69 pieces, brass, 12 by 13 by 7.5, also 2-star difficulty. So all these cranes seem to be on the easier side of model builds. These two models, I'm not sure when they're coming out. I think they're already supposed to have come out according to the website. They were supposed to come out in January, I think, but they haven't landed yet. At least I haven't found them. May have missed them. Again, I didn't search as far and wide as I usually do because I've got a lot of information I'm trying to catch up on, but I did not find them, so I don't have a link to where to buy them, but I do have a link to where you can see them on the Peacecool site. And then we have the Aoyama Dai, or the Qingshan Dai, Q-U-I-N-G space S-H-N space D-A-I, or sometimes it's Q-I-A-N-G-S-H-A-N. Been listed several different ways. This is a model P216-GN, 5.5 sheets or 5.5 sheets, 818 pieces. It is also brass, finish size of 19 by 10.5 by 30 centimeters, 5 of 7 stars. I'm not exactly sure what this is. From reading what I can read, it seems to be some sort of jewelry ornament representing the relationship of nature, to put it simply. How the mountains and the grass and the nature and people all relate to each other. So I know in Asian cultures that tends to be a recurring theme, and I respect it because we are all part of nature and need to respect it. And a lot of their Asian cultures, China, Japan, tend to reflect that. I don't know exactly what's going on here, and I open it up to anybody who wishes to interpret what these models are to leave in the comments for myself and others. Again, I apologize for the noise. There are people moving around, but I'm going ahead to get this recorded. The model does come with a stand. According to the Peacecool website, it was released in January, but again, I did not see it on AliExpress. I only checked 2 or 3 stores. And last but not least, of all the Peacecool models coming out, something that I'm a little more familiar with that is coming soon. I think it's projected to be out in March, though who knows, it might not show up online for sale until April. We have a newer version of the Peacecool London Eye. This is 5 sheets, 141 parts, 430 stainless steel, 14.5 by 11.4 by 17 centimeters, noticeably bigger than the Iconics version, the Metal Earth Iconics or Premium Series, which is 6.67 by 5.08 by 10.16 centimeters. So this newer version is taller, something that Peacecool's been doing quite a bit of since before I moved. And 3 of 7 stars, so it's still not that difficult. I mean, it's just a larger version of the London. I don't know how much has changed. I'm making assumptions here. You know, they've added color to it, and a lot of it's subtle color, so it doesn't stand out. It's not super bright, but there is some that does stand out. Again, set to release in March, so it's not out yet, but it will be coming soon. I know Peacecool has done this several times. There were several Iconics or Premium Star Wars models that Peacecool later released in larger versions. They were very much the same models. The sheets were a little bit different because the parts were bigger or something like that, from what I hear. And I want to say they've done that with some of the architectural models as well. I've talked about them, but I don't think I talked as much about the size difference with the other architectural models. But this is a trend that they seem to continue to do. So they're jumping back and forth. A lot of cranes and lions and Asian culture stuff, which makes sense because they are Asian based, and then the occasional model that America would be more familiar with, international structural models and Star Wars and whatnot. Anyway, that I believe catches me up with Peacecool. I still got quite a few other models to catch up on. I'm working on it. I still want to talk about MU and Iron Star and Picture Kingdom. They've come out with some models since I left, but a little at a time. That took me 2 days of off-and-on research between everything else I was doing, and then again last night I had some time to record and my information was gone. But it's back now. Oh, and I do want to thank CodeWiki for getting a lot of this information together. I use resources from the MetalEarthBuilder.com, Hobo4442 I believe it was, from Reddit. I used some information there. And also special thanks to, and I may have forgotten how to pronounce this correctly again, Ikarenicus, for sending me a list of models that I have missed. Thank you very much for that, and it was a jumping off point for me putting this together, and I definitely plan on using that information to help me get caught up with the other areas. Thank you for watching. Keep on keeping on.